Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, guys.
How are you?
Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Happy
Hello.
Sunday or whatever.
I'm
Hi,
doing much better.
Shauna.
I'm doing much better now. I took a nap and stuff.
How was your week?
I had a good week. I really did. It was a good week. I see myself working at the jail. I do.
Good.
Yeah.
I was hoping that was going to be the case.
Yeah, I start my third week this week. So
That's what's up. And how long do you have to do it?
for 6 weeks, not getting paid,
Okay.
it's a stress.
Don't 3 weeks went by fast.
Yeah, I feel like you just said you was about to start on your first day.
Right? This month
Hi,
went by
Nye.
fast.
Hi, Nye. Hi, Tej. Hi, Quita.
Hey,
Hey,
y'all.
ladies.
How are you? How was your week, Niche?
It was. I don't even remember what I did this week, to be honest, but it was cool. It wasn't stressful this week. It was cool. How was yours?
My week was good, girl. I called out on Friday because I was not driving home in the morning in that snow.
What
Right.
they started? Oh yeah, because it snowed overnight until Saturday.
Yes.
I
I wasn't
believe
driving
you
home
safe
in
and
that.
sorry.
That's a fact. Hey, Nat.
Already get on my nerves.
Oh.
Hey, Mom.
Well, this week, you guys, we have a very special, important episode. As you can see flashing on the bottom of the screen, our topic today is mothers who experienced incarceration.
Yes.
I'm excited about this.
Super excited. We have 4 guests joining us today with similar experiences, different in other ways, and they're gonna tell us their stories and their experiences with incarceration.
Right.
This is something that I don't feel like I ever seen anywhere, like anybody ever talk about. We always hear about, the fathers in prison, and, we know how the jail system is for men, but we never really hear anybody talking about the women and what women go through.
Right.
That is true. I never did.
know,
I never.
being behind bars, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Yeah, I heard it here first. So
you heard it here first. Share this, share this, share this. And we're going to get ready to introduce our first guest. Okay. Bringing you on the screen. We have. Hey, Mom.
Hi.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, ladies. Hey, everybody.
How you doing?
I'm blessed.
You got to turn your phone down.
You got to mute your phone and back up a little bit.
All right, mother.
All right, so who are you? Tell us about yourself.
All right. I'm Natalie Hall.
Crypto's going.
No, everybody, Shauna is silly. I'm Natalie Hall. I'm LaShauna Moms. And I was incarcerated in 1993 to 1996.
Okay.
I also experienced having a child while I was in jail in 93.
Okay.
So,
yes, we can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah, well, definitely. Thank you. Thanks for being on here tonight. Can't wait to hear more about your experience.
Yes.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Okay, the next person we are going to bring onto the screen is boom.
Hey, Miss Christina.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
That's my mama,
I
y'all.
introduce myself. I'm Christina Moody. I'm Sabrina's mother. I'm here to share my experience with you guys about being a mother, experiencing incarceration. I was in prison from 2000 to 2003.
Okay.
Thanks for being here, girl.
Thank you.
Okay, bringing the
You're
next
welcome.
person onto the screen, we are bringing on Miss Tanya Wood.
Oh, wait, I was muted. Sorry.
Hey, girl.
Hey, all right. So I'm Tanya. I was incarcerated from 2007 to 2011, and I'm here to share some of my prison experiences with you guys.
Yes, great, great. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You are appreciated. Bringing the next person onto the screen. Last but not least is Brittany Banks.
Hey everybody, can y'all hear me?
Hey, girl.
Can hear you.
Hey, how you doing?
Fine, how are you guys?
Good, good.
I'm actually here to share my experience of being incarcerated and living life after incarceration, being incarcerated. I was incarcerated from 2016 to 2019.
Okay, okay. So you guys, everybody watching, these are our guests for the day. And we're just gonna jump right into it. So I do know that you guys all were incarcerated in the state of New Jersey, and you guys all were at the same facility, correct?
Well, there's only one female institution in New Jersey, which is Edna Mahan Correctional Facility. But I actually had the privilege, being incarcerated in a men's prison as well. I was actually in New Jersey State's prison, which is the only maximum prison for men in the state of New Jersey. So I was in both.
Okay.
Okay. Wow, I didn't know that they allowed women to be
well, they do not there was actually a huge lawsuit that you can actually Google, because we weren't supposed to be there, and shortly after, like, the ACLU got involved, and they finally one late evening came in there with cameras and camcorders and had us pack up and shipped us back to Edna Mahan. I'm talking like 11, 12 midnight. Like, everybody get up, pack your stuff, whatever commissary you had coming, it's not coming. You'll be refunded. Whenever you get refunded is when you'll be refunded. But you have like 5 minutes to pack up your cell and it's time to go.
So how did you get from Edna? Is it okay, so it's not Edna Man, it's Edna Mahan.
It's a shit show if you ask me, but I guess it's called Edna Mahan or Edna. People pronounce it.
Okay. How did you get from there to the men's prison?
So I was in administrative segregation for a fight. So I initially I got down to Clinton May of 2007. And by July 1st, I was in detention, which is lockup. So I was there for 15 days. And from there, based on the severity of the charges for the fight, because a weapon was used, I was shipped to New Jersey State Prison. And that was a 23-hour lockup. Right. So I'm in the cell for 23 hours a day, and then I come out for an hour. And that hour is either rec or shower. It's not both. So either you come out and play or you come out and wash your behind. Like,
wow.
That's crazy.
Okay. We definitely want to hear from each of you about what was your experience like in Edna Mahan Correctional Facility. We can start, I guess, in order of screen. So Tanya, Mom, Nat, and then Britt. Right. Cool?
Okay.
Okay, so Tanya, what was your experience like in Edna Mahan? Like, when you first got there, like, what were you like?
Crazy story. So when I first got there, I was in reception so I was sentenced April 13th, and I made it to Clinton, which is Edna Mahan, is in Clinton, so everybody calls it Clinton, like 2 weeks before my 25th birthday. So I was in reception for 2 weeks. And when you're in reception, you ladies know, when you're in reception, you build these like friendships with these people. You getting up, you talking to them every day. And then when you're separated, so you either go to the maximum part of the prison or you go to grounds. So grounds, you have like a little bit more freedom. It's more like a little college that's how they kind of like portray it to be. And then there's maximum people who have a certain amount of time, or maybe they have like a violent crime or an arson, which those type of charges can never make it to grounds. And someone had committed suicide when I was when I was like housed in my unit, and it was really really weird. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? What
This
am I?
was your first day there?
No, this was not my first day there. I walked into like a big. So the men, they have what they call it. They don't call it reception in Trenton. What do they call that? But that's basically what it is. When you're sent to, you have to go into this big open gym auditorium type of situation, and there's all these bunk beds, and there's all of these different women and personalities, and you shower together, you eat together, you shit together. There's no privacy. My toilet bowl is next to your toilet bowl. I can smell you, you can smell me. Yeah. So everything is pretty much like stripped away. And when I left from reception, I was housed, and someone had committed suicide. So then they started like this new rule about the officers were like knocking on, because we didn't have doors, so they had to knock on the wall by the bathroom, which the bathroom had like a shower curtain or a sheet or something to give us quote unquote privacy. And so I was housed into this unit away from the ladies that I had just met a day before my 25th birthday. And I just remember waking up on this top bunk for my 25th birthday, and just this bright ass light in my face, and just like, now I'm going back into like that moment, and just like not, I didn't have like money on the phone. I couldn't go home. I missed breakfast because like in reception, everybody goes. So whether you want to eat or not, we all go. So it's not like you have to be, you're gonna, people wake you up because they turn the bright lights on in this big open auditorium. But when you get housed, you do what you want to do. If you don't want to go to breakfast, you don't have to go to breakfast. I don't have any commissary. I want to go to breakfast. I'm hungry. Mm-hmm. And I just remember waking up, and breakfast, they were already on their way back in from breakfast. That's what woke me up. So breakfast was over. So that was my first, that wasn't my first day of prison, but that was my first day of being out of reception and away from all of the other people. Another thing, when I walked into the gate, going into my unit, I remember a bunch of girls running up to me aggressively asking me if I wanted to sell my boots.
Your boots?
Your what?
my state boots. My state boots. So yeah, boots that seemed to have been like a hot commodity or something there. So I was just like, yeah, no, I don't want to sell them. I think I actually may need these some point in the 5 years that I have to be here, and I'm not really sure how, if I'm gonna get a chance to buy. Like, no, I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell my boots. I'm sorry.
Right. Wow.
Interesting.
That's very interesting. Yeah. Very yeah, I don't think I'll be able to do it.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, it's not a place, and a lot of things have changed since, like, they used to have smoking. You can't smoke anymore. I heard like people are smoking tea bags. It's not a place that you want to be.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Thank you for that time.
Thank you.
Okay, Christina.
Miss Christina.
I actually think she froze, guys. So
okay, Ma, Nat, you gotta unmute.
Y'all gotta unmute me.
All right, there you go.
That's probably what happened with Christina. Yes, she called Christina.
She's frozen.
Yeah, we got. Sorry, ladies.
Oh.
Okay. So my experience. When I was arrested, I had gotten a sentence of a 3-1, which means 1 year on a 3 relation. And then months, for good behavior, but it didn't work out that way for me. Just 3 months of reception, and I'm not from reception. I'm sorry. 3 months on in ground. When I got to end the man, I was really confused because I didn't know what was going on. I was confused. I was scared. Um, I didn't want nobody to rape me. That's all I kept saying. I'm gonna get raped. Just all like stereotype things that you see on TV or that you hear about. But just mostly I knew why I was, how everything came about. So you do right. Here I was. My I really to really engage with anybody. Ran into some people that I knew from Jersey City, but I would see them in passing. They lived in other cottages, and then like Tanya was saying, they were pretty, when I was there, it was pretty open. Like, it wasn't like what you think, like bars and slam doors and things like that. It was open, and, you would get to walk around, and we could smoke at the time. I was just ready to get out of there. But my process was pretty quick because, like I said, in county for 3 months. Then I went to Edna for 3 months, and then I got to the halfway house. I went to Kentuck, and I wound up getting into some trouble there, like a month before I was due to go home on parole, and I went back to Edna, and they sent me to ASAC for 560, and that was one of the worst experiences in my, like what you mentioned, Tanya. When you coming in that prison and you see all those men banging on the door and yelling and screaming at you, and you got to walk down this long hall, and you shackled and you handcuffed, and I didn't know anything. I mean, I got there and I was like, they put me in my cell, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to come out now, and everybody started laughing at me, and I just kept yelling for the guard to let me out, and she said, do you know where you are? Like, no. And then she told me, and I just broke down, just like I broke down. I had nothing. I had nothing in my room, nothing. It was horrible, something I never forget. But I made it through that, and I did my 569 days in ASAG, and I came back to Edna and came home in December 2003, and I've been home ever since.
I just want to
Not one
elaborate,
arrest,
put this
because
back
you.
for those of you watching who might have missed, because she said she did over 500 days in ASAG. That's a long time to be in a cell for 23 hours and coming out just for 1 hour.
It's inhumane. That's what it is. It's inhumane.
Well, it is. And it causes you to have, like, I don't know if people watch the story about Khalif Browder, the 16-year-old boy that was locked up on Rikers Island. That was, part of the reason why he killed himself, because it's like when you're in administrative segregation like that, it does something to the brain, because we as humans, we supposed to be in contact with people on a day-to-day basis, doing different things, getting air, sunlight, water, things like that. And a lot of times when you're in places like that, you're deprived of that, and you may think that it's easy, and it's not. But, for me, I ain't gonna lie, I found this in that cell. And I asked him, I said, look, if you get, it was horrible. It was really, really bad, but segregation is not therapeutic at all, anybody, but that's part of the process that they have in the prison system.
Wait, they wasn't feeding y'all when y'all was in ASAG?
I mean, I don't know. Is it?
Yeah,
we got meals. We got meals, like, and even officers. They feed you, yeah, but you can't. It's from you being in the prison. You in your cell 23 hours a day. in yourself. Just for you to get up and walk out to go to the shower is like a breath of fresh air because you beyond that cell. You know what I mean? At
Right.
least you get to walk out and just, see something different and breathe different air. Little small things that people take for granted. This is women. You know what I mean? And never get that. And there was some women within the 500 days I was down, left like 2 or 3 times. It came back, and I was still in there. I had no understanding, like why they kept coming back there. But just on just a horrible experience. It really was very traumatizing. Very traumatizing.
They
Sounds
probably
like
have boyfriends down there.
But that's it.
something. Okay, thank you for that,
Thank
mother.
you.
Thanks.
Okay, Nat. Now it's your turn.
Oh, one more thing.
Whoa, y'all real
Um,
strong.
We what?
Real strong because thank God I never went to access. Mm-mm. Y'all really, really strong because that I heard about it, but I never been there. But I did go up in the max off the grounds. Yeah. But anyway, whew, that's deep. That's deep.
Yeah, that's a long time to be
Mm-hmm.
an asset. That's
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get back with Tanya with the reception with you guys because when you go through that door, I was in there like 94 and they had the reception and that's when they started that no smoking around. We had to take smoke breaks and stuff.
okay.
And she was telling the truth about that. You in the middle of the gym with the toilet, the showers or whatever. And I'm telling you, I wouldn't wish nobody to go to jail, to go to prison.
And when we say gym, I mean like think of like your gym from like elementary school, like a
Mm-hmm.
big open
Gymnasium.
auditorium, and there's a bunch of bunk beds and a bunch of rows. Oh, and you can't go into everybody's row. So
Mm-mm.
like if your row is your row, don't
Mm.
be in somebody else's row because you're out of bounds, and that's grounds for you to get 15 days of detention.
Or 4 hours on your bunk. I
Mhm.
used to stay on my bunk all the time, especially when I got the grounds. I was in the jungle. I was in East Cottage when I got to the grounds. Everybody knew about East Cottage. That they call that the jungle. But I even made it far as to being a representative for the jungle, where I met the warrant, Miss
Okay.
Blackwell. She was the warrant of the prison. But yeah, we was across from Sea Cottage. They call Sea Cottage. That's where the crazy people was, the mental people was.
Mm,
But I won't wish nobody to go to jail. No woman, no, especially you got kids, because it's so hard, especially doing visits and your kids go up one way and you walk the other way, and it was real sad. It was real sad. That's why I was one and done. Went one time and it was done for me. I ain't been back to prison. Thank you, Jesus.
yeah.
But yeah, it's hard. It's rough. And then, like I said at the beginning, I had a baby. I was handcuffed to the bed, having given birth. When the nurse had to ask the officer, the police handcuff her, where is she gonna go? Where can she go? She pregnant. I was pushing. I coughed and I pushed my baby out.
Mm,
Yeah, they had me handcuffed to the bed, my leg and my foot, like I was a damn. It was crazy. It's crazy how they treat people. It's crazy how they treat you. And then you got the officer talking to you like you're not human, like you ain't shit.
mm,
But how about some of them officers who came back and went into jail too, doing some crazy devious stuff?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, you treat people the way you want to be treated, with respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't wish that on nobody. That's why I stay talking with my kids, and I'm glad that I could talk to other kids as well too, because there's no place for no woman
Yeah.
at all.
And when you had the baby, did they like take the baby away immediately? Did they let you
So,
hold the baby?
Right.
well, they tried, but the doctors and nurses was, thank God for them. They had a heart, so I got to be with my baby and two, it was time for me to go back. See, I had thank God for my mom. So I called, my mom took my baby, and I went back to prison. I mean, I went back to jail because I came through Middlesex County,
Right.
which is way better than Union County. Well, was Union, but anyway, yeah, I would, yeah. It was hard for me to separate.
Of course.
I cried in my cell. I thought about my other baby that I left back at home. But I always was in that state of mind. You do the crime, you do the time. You know what I'm saying? I knew I wasn't doing right. So I knew I was gonna get caught one day or another. Then so
So when you had the baby, was you able, like, how long did they keep you in, like, how long did they keep you in the hospital?
no, you only stayed in the hospital, what, 3 days?
Well, that's kind of how it is now in the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the real world. That's why I say I had the doctors and nurses speaking up for me, talking for me.
Okay.
Yeah, the officers was there, but I had to also sign a paper saying if I was to leave the hospital, that they will give me 5 years for escape charge.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So they left. So you thought I was going to do 5 years added on to my 2.5? Mm-mm. I stayed my black ass right there, waiting for them to get me, feet swinging and all. I'm laughing now, but I wasn't laughing then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm laughing now, but I wasn't.
Wow,
Yeah.
that gave me chills. Whew.
Yeah, it was hard. It's very hard. And then, like I said, I was there at the time when I was leaving. They were stopping the packages. So I left in '96. So I knew. So they were stopping the people. We was where I was when I was there at the Mayhem Correctional Facility. You can get 50 pounds of food. You can get packages. My husband Leo. So when I was leaving, they were stopping that. They was only able to order offline, and we could have the TV, the little TVs and whatever. I had a TV. I left my TV in there. I left everything. I ain't want nothing
Wow.
for the next person that wasn't able to get nothing.
Yeah.
And as Taya was saying that if you don't make it to the meals, you can forget about it. And I used to work in the kitchen.
Wow.
Down there. I found me some jobs.
Yeah.
Yes, I did work in the kitchen, and I worked on ground detail, making the officers' coffee. I made that coffee so thick and muddy. Coffee hall, yep, I sure did. And I will also, we did a scare scrape. Some kids was coming up there, so the officers asked us because we used to play volleyball and all that stuff. The inmates against the officers. So the officers asked us, can we do a scare scrape? You ever see that show, Scare Scrape? We try to scare kids straight, but you still end up going to jail. But, yeah, we did that. It's the good and the bad because the way they was treated in accent, like I said, I never been there. Thank you, Jesus. But I went back up to Hillcrest because somebody stole a radio and they thought I did it. So I had to go back. I had to go to the maximum building, which is called Hillcrest, North Hall, South Hall, where the murderers and stuff is. Yeah. So it's crazy. I wouldn't wish nobody to go up there. All that people talking tough and want to do this, and don't go to jail. It ain't worth it. Then you got kids, your kids suffer.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Okay, Britt, let us hear it.
I mean, at the end,
I gotta piggyback on what Tanya was talking about because that reception.
I mean, at the end of the day, I, like, you know.
Go ahead, Britt.
I got there when I was in reception. It was bad. They literally give you 8 rolls of toilet tissue. So mind you, we in reception for 2 weeks before we get classified to go to where we going. You either gonna get classified to go to grounds. If you get classified to go to grounds, basically you almost on your way out. Like you eligible for the halfway house. You eligible to you about to get released. You're not staying there real long. So if you get classified to go to max, you still got some time to do before you go anywhere else. But they was giving us 8 rolls of toilet tissue. When I tell you the toothbrush that they was giving us was like this, our toothbrush looked just like this. You gotta brush your teeth with that toothbrush. They wasn't giving us a little tube of toothpaste, that nasty roll on deodorant that make you sweat. Disgusting. You had to use your tissue wisely. The only time that you was able to take a shower was at night. You could not jump. You couldn't do nothing without being told what to do. It's like you didn't. Even though we still in jail, we didn't have no type of freedom to do anything whatsoever. You had to even when it came to making phone calls, like your phone list had to be approved. You had to get a PIN number. So once you get there, you gotta wait for your phone list to be approved, and you can't just keep you can't just every I think it was either every 60 days. I'm not sure, but you couldn't just keep on changing your phone list. Everybody had to be approved. Your addresses had to you had to have an address for the phone list. You had to have damn near basically people's social security card just to put their number on the phone list for you to call them. Like so when I left reception was horrible. They stopped us from what Tanya was talking about. They used to make us get up and go get our food. They stopped us from going to go get our food
So when
and
I
started
left,
bringing
the
and
reception was horrible.
they started bringing our trays to us. We wasn't even allowed to leave reception to go nowhere. So they stopped that. When I got the I was in I was in Stowe. I was in Stowe one. I was always downstairs on the north side. I know a couple of girls, some girls from home, some girls from the town. It was a mixture of a lot of us. Um, I'm not gonna say I had a horrible experience because I never experienced that either because I didn't want to go back there. I like cooking in the microwave. I like using the phone. I'm not about to jeopardize what I got going on for nobody. So y'all can talk as much as y'all want. As long as you don't put your hands on me, y'all can go ahead. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. I got into a couple of fights, but I never like went to act bad for no fights. They was always like behind closed door fights. Like nobody never knew it was a fight. It was always a quiet fight. I got to like 3 fights. It was always quiet.
Wait, I got a funny moment because my old landlord was a correction officer at in the man, and when we met her, Wade was talking to her, and she was like, "Yeah, I work here. This is what I do." And he was like, "Oh, my sister down there." He was like, "Oh, what's her name?" He was like, "Brittany Banks," and she was like, "Oh," and we was like, "Dang, what?" She was like, "Banks. Oh, she got a lot of mouth. She got a whole lot of mouth." And I was like, "Oh my God." She was like, "I'll keep y'all posted on her, but y'all can't tell her who I am."
Yeah, she was working at reception.
Yeah, so she knew who you was. I was like,
But
Lord.
I already knew something was funny because not to put nobody's business out there, but somebody she was dealing with kept saying they know my brother, and I'm like, it's impossible. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you know him, but I figured I had put two and two together,
Yeah.
and so but when I had got up there, being as though that it kind of like worked in my favor a little bit because he was my regular officer that I seen every day. His name was Wimbush or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I when I tell you I got away with a lot of shit, like a lot of stuff. Like I guess because he felt as though like um he knew Wade. Like it's not what you know, and I say that to say this: it's who you. It's not what you know; it's who you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I got away with a lot of stuff down there, and not to brag about it, anything like that, but being down there and being away from your kid it get depressing, it get dark, it get lonely, like and um on the subject of kids, my brother actually took me to the county for me to turn myself in because I had to turn myself in, and He took me to drop my kid off at school. And so, and then it was kind of like, it was kind of fucked up when I got to the county. And the lady said to me, I will never forget this. The lady said, "Did you kiss your son goodbye?"
Mm.
And I just looked at her with this crazy look on my face. Like, what would possess you to ask somebody that? Me in the back of my head, knowing that I'm not sure when I'm gonna be able to see him, I gotta get to a phone and make sure, let my mom know I'm good, am I right, or whatever. But for you to ask somebody that, and I literally just dropped my son off at school, and he was only 3 when I went to jail, and him not even knowing that I wasn't even gonna be there to pick him up. So that's the only thing that really affected me was me being away from my kid. Everything else, it didn't affect me. Like when I'm talking about friends and bitches I don't dealt with for years and all of that outside stuff, it didn't affect me. The only thing that really affected me was me being away from my kid and me having to drop my kid off, and then my next destination was to turn myself in.
Yeah.
But being downstate, it helped me grow as a woman. It taught me different. I would watch these bitches argue about the craziest stuff. Y'all arguing about a microwave, like y'all arguing about phone time, like, and I just would sit back and I would just look like it's more to
That
life
phone
outside of
time is
these
important,
walls.
honey. That phone time is important. When I'm trying to call
But
my kid
listen,
and
this
you
my
still on the
thing
phone.
though. But this my thing though. When you downstate, you get into a routine. Just because you know somebody that's doing a phone list don't give you special privileges. You gotta wait just like everybody else for when that person that's doing a phone list to come around and ask you what phone time would you like. But being as though that I was able to get the phone time that you normally get, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's Keisha phone time, so I ain't gonna take her phone time. No, bitch, I gotta call my family too.
Right.
Like just argue about, oh, I get 7:30 phone time. Not just be looking like it was just a lot of pettiness. It's so much going on outside besides these four walls with we in jail. And everybody we here for the same reason. Everybody trying to get home.
Right.
So and I seen it like if we stuck together the way we did, that shit that's going on right now in Edna home wouldn't even be going on. All the lawsuits, all of that stuff, it wouldn't even be going on. But
Yeah, because it's a lot going on there. It's a
it
lot.
Um,
really is a lot.
Brittany,
And I'm glad that I'm not
Brittany,
down there.
I hope you filled
Huh?
out that paperwork for your class action lawsuit.
I did.
Okay.
I did, and guess
That
what? I got
that's
something in the
all.
mail. Yes, I did receive something in the mail said I didn't have to take any further action. Whatever they had a class act lawsuit out. Even if you was down there around the time that everything was going on, you were compensated. How you say the word? You were compensated for everything. They offered everybody $1,000, a
Wow.
thousand dollars a month,
Wow.
just for being down there when that situation happened. And I just, you know, happened to
Yeah.
get lucky. I was down there when
Right.
all of that was going on. So now y'all gotta pay me.
Wow.
Wow. That brings me to my our next question. And again, we can go in order, the same order that we did. How did you cope with being in that environment? Like, how did you cope from, one day being here and then the next day having to wake up somewhere else in a totally different routine from what normal life for you was? Like,
Um, I sang. Singing is therapeutic for me, so I sang my way through I got cool with the officers by singing. It would be count time, and an officer would come and take me off of my wing and bring me into like the public area and make me sing for rookie cops when I was in AdSec in Trenton, and we were like locked in our cells. So that's that open and shut door loud cell, like that type of situation. They would open my door, and while everybody's locked in their cell, they would make me come out and sing, or I would sing through my door, or that's the only way that I really cope was just singing. And I mean, it got me through my entire bid singing. I was singing. They would call me to the infirmary, which is like the hospital. They would call me over there to sing. Wood, go to the infirmary. Like for what? They said you got something to do over there. I go. Oh, Wood, sing that song by Keisha Cole. Like that's how I got by.
Wow. Thank God for the gift, girl.
For real.
Anybody that don't know, Tanya can really sing, like for real, like sing. Mom, you gotta unmute. You gotta unmute.
Oh, God.
There you go.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, you hear me?
Yep.
Um, I don't know. I guess the first. Yes. I didn't really. I guess the first. I didn't really cope with it the way I should have. I felt like because again, like I said, my stage was really like short. You know, like I was in county for 3 months, and I was okay in the county because I knew everybody there. And then I went to grounds for 3 months, and I ran into some people I knew there. And then I went to the halfway house, and I ran into some people I knew there. It was. Can you ladies hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was when I got to ASEG. It's like what really broke me. That's what broke me the most. And I think for me coping, I was there maybe like 2 weeks. And they was like, Moody, you gotta visit. And I was like, it was Herb. That's the gentleman I was with at the time. And he found me all the way down the essay. He was like, what happened? And I told him, I need a TV. I need this. I need that. You know what I mean? And he was just, there for me to support me because, and also at that time while I was in essay, that's when my parents' center was in a bad fire. And I'll never forget that morning. I was in my cell watching the news, and it was like it was a bad fire in Jersey City on Wilkinson Avenue. And I looked, and it was our house, and I was banging on the door, and I said, "My house is on fire." I said, "I need to call my grandmother." They let me come out and call my grandmother. It's stuff like that. Like, and then most importantly, my children, because again, at the time I had 4 children. And Sabrina, when I went in, you was 11, Hanifa was 8, Omari was 5, and Solomon was 2. And I didn't have Freddie yet, but, just the separation, because I was already going through some things before I got incarcerated, but just the separation of it all, like, I didn't know how to cope with it. I didn't, and to this day, I still don't, to be honest with you guys, because it's just something for me that was traumatizing. It was very traumatizing to me, to where it made me want to come back out here in society and just be the best person I could be, because I didn't ever want to go back to that place. And then when I left ASEG and came back, they put me in a max unit with the killers and the lifers and the people that commit murder. And then, here to go, I was doing what I was doing out there. I didn't kill nobody. Like, I didn't want to be around these people. I didn't really sleep well, because the unit that I was on was mostly women that were in there for murdering people. They appeared to be nice women, but I didn't know. When I was down there, I seen a girl get cut in the face with a can opener. You just experience some things down there, but it was nothing really there for you to help you cope with being there. You was just there, just doing your time. And that's the most sad part of it. That's what a lot of women suffer from too while they there. And I think that's why a lot of women come back, because there's nothing there to help them cope with what's happening with them. Like, what brought you here? How did you end up here? And that, for me, that's the most important thing. But I had my family, but then again, I really didn't, So again, I felt alone, but I don't know. I haven't thought about this in a long time since talking to you ladies about it. But now that I'm thinking about it, it kind of makes me sad. But I thank God that where I'm at today, because I got through that, But I want to say this too to the other ladies before I stop, everybody got a story, but my thing is, for me, I have to take accountability for what I did, which brought me in this place, and we all did something that we wasn't supposed to do to get in this place. But the experience there is very inhumane, yes, especially, with you being in a men's prison and stuff like that. Ain't nobody send me no class action lawsuit for no $1,000. I wish I would have got something. Ain't nobody send me no paper, but on the same token, it's like that's the problem. Like a lot of people, when they come out on the other side, you know what I'm saying? What do you do after the fact to try to help the people that's either still in there or people, who may come into that situation? That's where the hope is. You know what I'm saying? You got to try to change some stuff. You know what I mean? Because, it's going on in there we don't know nothing about now because we out here. But it's a lot of stuff that we know that went on in there while we were there, and we couldn't do nothing about it. You see what I'm saying? So, for me, just talking about it and, going through this experience with y'all, like, I really appreciate it. I really do.
We appreciate you, girl.
Yeah, you're doing great. We appreciate you being here. Thank you. Mom, how did you feel?
So when I was on the grounds, like I said, I made sure I did something. I stayed active. I got with the I told you I was a representative of my cottage, so I was able to go to the lady Blackwell, who was the at that time who was the warden, and they bring out questions and stuff like that. And then also I said how we played volleyball against the officers, and then we played softball against the officers. We to me back when I was in there, it was like when I went to Job Corps. When I was in Job Corps, just older people and more
That,
of them.
that's funny you said that because when we was talking with like Britt and Tanya, like before we was talking to y'all, they said that like somebody said it was like a college campus, right?
Yeah, tell you did.
That's how my
It's like Job Corps.
mentor
Being
described it.
with the Job Corps, I know that it was like Job Corps, but also, um, I'm a people person, and then a lot of people. Don't forget, I lived in Newark, I lived in Perth Amboy, I lived in a lot of places. So when I know a lot of people, especially in Plainfield. I was like, dang, I seen people that I thought was dead. I was like, damn, I thought you was dead. They was up in jail. But yeah, I'm saying that's. I mean, it's the way you look at it. So I worked in the kitchen. Then
Okay.
you like I said, I know people. So that's another thing with me. So I don't do clicks and stuff like that. We know each other, we high by, we keep the time going. You know what I'm saying? We make the time go faster. We go out, I go out in the day room, I play pinochle, I learn how to play pinochle, learn how to, you play games, you read, you do stuff. That's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, when Natalie was down in Edna Man, I heard that's when y'all was allowed to wear your own clothing.
Yeah, we get packages. We used to get packages, clothing packages, food packages, and like I said, '96 when I was about to leave, they were stopping that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, you had
the
to go
other
online.
ladies
You
were
had to go order through a book or something like that. They was getting real strict back then.
That's because they said it has something to do with like family members, like they used to
Putting
let
drugs.
yeah, like cutting open sneakers, putting
Mm-hmm.
drugs and
Yup.
putting drugs in the food packages and stuff. So one bad apple.
Spoils
Stop.
for the bunch.
yeah,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yup.
crazy.
Shoot, when I came home from jail, right soon I was making jail food for y'all. I was making what right soon I used to make jail food for them to eat.
I think everybody had a hookup.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I was like, please, come on, y'all.
Okay, Britt, how did you cope with being in that environment?
Yeah, I ain't even gonna believe the words that's coming out of my mouth, but I don't touch so many heads in Clinton, like just doing hair. I probably done did at least 100 heads down there.
Wow.
I'm gonna say even more because that's how I really coped. Like I was doing hair and I was making money too. Even when I got to the halfway house, I was still doing hair. Even when I got to Bo Robinson, I just did hair. Like that's how I coped with being there. And the girls don't they not paying much, but it was something that like I had regular customers downstate, regular customers in the halfway house. So that's how I kept myself occupied. I worked. I worked in the kitchen. Um, I was in school. I went to cosmetology. They do offers. I'm not gonna say that they don't offer things down there, but it's to a certain extent. It's not like a men's prison where they offer you a variety of things. You have cosmetology. I can't even think of else what else they had. You was able to get your GED. Um, they had a lot of classes, but it wasn't like a big variety of things. So a lot of females went to cosmetology. You could do cosmetology in a max unit, and you could do it down on grounds too. But yeah, I know I like to do hair, so that's what I did. Um, I was charging like $5, $10. Yeah, let me get like 6 soups. Let me get like 4 bags of chips, sodas, and that's how I made my money.
No, that's
And
really
that's
good.
how I cope.
I know that's right.
So being
Hmm.
that like you could get like your degree and like your cosmetology and all that down there. So when you get out, can you use that for like job
It's
references
state
and
it's
stuff?
state certified.
Okay, cool.
It's state
That is
certified.
actually pretty awesome.
Okay,
But
that's
it's like being down there and trying to get your cosmetology license. We don't even have enough time in the day to even. It's a lot of hours that you have to put in. So if you only in class for an hour or two, I'm talking about you literally have to be. I wasn't planning on staying that long. I'm not here for life, so I wasn't even really. I was taking it serious, but it wasn't like it was just something for me to do to get out of the unit and
mm,
not just be standing around doing nothing, looking for trouble. And I used to go to college school. I'd be down there painting my nails, painting my feet, stealing nail polish, all kinds of stuff. But it wasn't like it wasn't nothing like. So then she had finally put me out of school. She was like, "Yeah, you're done." I was like, "That's fine. I'm on my way out the building." I was on my way to the halfway house in like a good 3 weeks. I was like, "I don't care. Like, bye." But it was just for me to just keep busy and just was doing stuff because I find myself always caught up in certain situations that I didn't want to be in, or it'd be like Brittany. Don't say Brittany said nothing because Brittany didn't say that. So I was trying to separate myself from if anywhere you go, it's always going to be drama, no matter what it is. Just like I said, it could be over a microwave, it could be over a phone, it could be over it's just crazy stuff like.
Wow.
So I was just trying to just keep myself busy and stay out of people's way, stay out of drama, and that's what I did. I went to school, went to cosmetology school. I did hair. I can't. Everybody here, I did. I was doing hair at reception when I got there. When I first got there, I was doing hair. Okay,
That's
because
good
that's
though.
how bored I was. I was like, oh, everybody want their hair done? Like, what's going on?
No, that's
But
really
yes,
good.
I stayed busy. Yep, and then people started to notice like, okay, she do hair. She
Mm.
do hair. So, yep, that's how I got my money. I always had my mom always supported me. My family always supported me, but I was just putting in that old extra coin.
Right.
Yep.
So we got like questions and stuff, but I feel like as y'all was talking, y'all was answering a lot of our questions.
right. I
Yeah.
was just about to say that. I was literally just
Is
about
there
to
So
any
say
like
that's
that.
specific questions?
How
But
about
like your support system and stuff, that was one of them.
yeah.
Like,
Did you have a support system? And if so, how long did they support you? Because sometimes, when people go to jail, prison, whether it be um your boyfriend or your family member or any, sometimes people don't always stay, you
right.
know, with
they do
you
a
for
couple
the
months and be
duration of
out.
the time.
Right.
Like people say, out of sight, out of mind. So, what was your experience like with the support, Tanya?
My mom was there from the beginning until the very end. I remember I was arrested. I was indicted. Um, I remember going into Somerset County, and I remember the lady in the room telling me it was breakfast, and I just looked at her like, I don't want that shit. I'm like, I'm going home today. Like, I'm bailing out of here today. I'm going home. You can have it. She was like, well, lunch is not until like another couple hours. You sure? I'm like, no, you can have it. And I remember them calling me later on that day, telling me like I was leaving, I was going home, and I was so happy to walk out of Somerset County. And I remember this narrow like hallway, and I remember like walking and just seeing my mom's face, and I was just like, I think I want to go back into jail. Like my mom was about to fuck me. This lady is about to. That was the longest ride home down Route 22 into Plainfield ever. Do you hear me? But my mom supported me the entire time. And then while I was there, like I had a store. Um, so I was pretty much
Yeah,
I
you
was
was
good.
making money with that store. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, my store was raided a number of times, and I never fell off. And, so, like for those who don't know, like in prison, when you have a store, you if I give you something today, when you get your commissary back, you have to give me double of that. So, me and my girlfriend had the biggest store on the compound. So, in the max, so that's Stowe 1 and 2, North Side and South Side, upstairs and downstairs, and then there's Hillcrest, which is a north and a south. So that's and then there's Stowe, and there's North Hall and there's South Hall, and there were no cigarettes. It was a big snowstorm, and a lot of cottages had their commissary was pushed back, so there were no cigarettes. I didn't smoke cigarettes at the time, and my girlfriend didn't smoke cigarettes, so we had cigarettes for days. We were charging 10 for one. So if I give you a pack of cigarettes today, our store was lit to the point where I had so much stuff in my store. I was having girls send remits home. So I'm probably the reason for JPay. Like you have to send your money like electronically, no money orders. I was having girls send like money orders out, like sending remits to send money orders home to my mom's house, but have like putting them in my daughter's name, or like putting them in my sister's like her middle name and last name, because it couldn't be anybody on your visiting list. So you didn't want to get like jammed up, like catch an extortion charge. And I remember my mom used to just be like, "Why are all of these money orders and stuff coming here in Anaya's name? And what is all of this stuff?" And I'm like, "Just cash them and send them back to me." She like, "You ain't learned yet." I said, "I'm not doing nothing."
Learn lean.
She was a huge support system. And I remember when I got the day that I got sentenced, when I actually went into prison. So I was indicted in 2004. I didn't get sentenced until 2007. So I was out on bail for 3 years, just living my life. And then I got a phone call and basically was told like in 2 weeks it's time to go to your new place, which is prison. I had a truck, I had an apartment, I had furniture, and these people gave me 14 days. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with all of this stuff? But she took me. Well, she didn't take me. I rode with a friend so I could smoke before I went into the county to like go do my bid or whatever. And she went in her car, and I finally got up there, and they sentenced me to how long I was going to be in there. And I turned around and looked at her, and I asked the officer if I could like go and hug her, and the sheriff's officer was like no. And I broke down, and my mom is like one of the strongest people. If she's not strong, she's a good ass faker. And I turned around with tears in my eyes, and she looked at me and was just like call me later. And I'm like, girl, what? Call you later? I don't know if I'm going like hello, but I guess she was just trying to like keep it together for me. I don't know, but she was just like, I'm like, Ma, it's no calling you later. Like, I don't know, but yeah, she definitely supported me. From visits to my daughter and the money, everything. I never missed a commissary ever, ever, ever.
Wow,
That's a blessing.
That is a blessing.
A huge blessing, because the stuff in there is expensive. It goes fast, and you only order every 2 weeks, and if you don't like the stuff in the mess hall, like it goes fast, and it's expensive. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, wait. So while we have you, being that we like trying to get through two questions. So how old was your daughter when you went in? That's another question.
So
So
Anaya was 3. She had just turned 3 in December. I left in April. And when I came home August of 2011. She was 7 and she would have turned 8 in December.
okay,
So
okay,
she was, yeah, she was very young.
okay. So as we go to the next person, so answer the question and then tell us how old your kids was when you went in and when you came out, because time is like going fast. I'm sorry.
Okay, Mom.
Hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. The question was, did I have a support system? Not really. No, that wasn't my case. Um, there's a lot of things going on at that time. Just a lot, that I'd rather not discuss on the podcast, but it was just a lot going on with my family and myself at the time. So it was like I was just in there, but I was in a relationship prior to me going to prison, and you know, I was supposed to leave and go to Texas with him. And I didn't go, and I got arrested the next day. So, I didn't think I was going to see or hear from him anymore. But I went back to court on my birthday, and he showed up to court. And he was there every step of the way, from the county to Clinton. He came to visit me a few times down there. He came to visit me down in Trenton State, and he came and picked me up when it was time for me to come home. But not really hearing from, I didn't really hear from my children. I didn't know how they were. I knew where they were, but I didn't know how they were. And, a big part of that for me was very not easy to deal with because I felt like I failed them as a mother, not being there and, them getting used to me not being around. You don't know the effect that it have on your children, and your relationship with your children. So, the support would have been nice. It probably would have made it a little easier, but that wasn't my case at all. I think I said earlier, Sabrina was 11. Nyla, Lord, Sabrina was 11. Hanifa was 8. Omari was 6. And Solomon was 2. And I didn't have Freddie yet.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, go, Mom.
Yep,
Oh,
I have.
You're muted. You got it.
I'm- I had a support system because I had my mom. I didn't. All I wanted her to do because she had the kids. So when I got locked up, I made sure she had stuff from the business I was in. And a car. I left her with a car. I knew she couldn't drive, but I had told her, get somebody to drive her wherever she needs to go. And of course, Leo, the one I'm with now.
girl, bye.
He was with me. He was my ride or die. What are you talking about?
No,
Shoot.
that's good.
He's like, huh? Yeah, I swear, y'all. He was with he hung in there. He ain't leave me. He said he was gonna do it with me, and he did. He made sure I had because I didn't want him to do nothing for my kids because they was good. So he had me for the 2.5 and stuff. And for us with my kids, Shona was 2, and Quader was what 7 months. I believe she was 7 months. She was something months. I think she was 7 months and stuff. But yeah. It was hard. It was real, real hard. And then I didn't lie to my kids when they used to come visit me. I didn't say, "Oh, I'm in college. I'm this. I'm in jail for doing something bad."
Mm-hmm.
A place I never want y'all to come.
All right, move. Go over
I
there.
never lied to my kids. And what was the other one? That's it.
Okay.
Thank
Okay, Britt.
Basically, I had everybody I needed. Um, up from when I went to the police station to when I came home. And I was fortunate enough to go to the halfway house. And can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And I was fortunate enough to go to the halfway house, and I was able to come home on my furloughs. I was coming home on the weekends, still with the same support system, still with the same group of people that voted me down from when I first got arrested on the scene. A funny story actually. My mom didn't even know what I was arrested for. And so when she went to go, when I called her on the phone, I acted like I didn't know what was going on because I didn't want her to know what was going on. But eventually, she had found out what was going on, whatever. She was like, "Girl, you know I'm coming. I'm coming, girl." But it took her, girl. I'm glad she did come because if she would have, I got arrested. I think it was on a Friday. No, it was like a Thursday. So I was in there for like a good like 3 days, Friday, Saturday. But if Monday would have came, they would have shipped me off to the county. My mom came and got me that Sunday evening. Had about 6 co-signers. Yeah, my mom came and got me.
I
She
know
wasn't
that's
gonna let
right.
me sit there for too much longer. She
Miss
came and
Donna don't
got
play about
me,
them
and
kids.
huh?
Said Miss Donna don't play about them
And she been,
kids.
she don't play about none of them kids, okay? She
Right.
and she's still rocking with me. She still we rock, you know, we fight like cats and dogs. And my mom when I was locked up, my mom made Mr. Beat. Shout out to my mother. And I actually not signed my rights over, but I gave her temporary custody of Jamari. So she had all rights to my son. I had to I had to handle my business because it was a lot going on with Jamari. So, but she held it down, and everybody else around me, my brother, my sister, everybody. I had everyone that I needed there with me.
No, that was a
And
blessing too.
Jamari was three. When he came home, when I came home, I think he was 5 or 6. Yeah, because
I think
Jamari
it's
was just
around six.
splurging. Yeah, he was just having birthday party after birthday. Yeah, he was doing too much. So
That was
yes,
telling.
yeah, he was 6. Yes, he don't get that no more. You're done.
Don't do
That
that to him.
I'm a, I'm gonna wait till he turned like 10, maybe 10. I'm gonna throw him a big birthday party, but it just be a lot. Like it's just too much. Everybody got the
no
same
for
shirts
real.
on. Mother of the and a crazy story wait before I finish. So I was in a halfway house right for Jamari. What was that 5th birthday party? What did he have? PJ Masks,
Mm-hmm.
I think. So Teller had met me at work or whatever. She had gave me brought me a shirt and it said mother the birthday boy. So that kind of like just I was there, but I wasn't there. I was rocking my
Right.
little t-shirt while I was in the halfway house. I wish I could have been there, but it's plenty of more parties and birthdays and more money to be spent. So I'm just thankful for my support system that I had.
Right. So
That's
that
right.
leads into our to like how did the separation affect you and your child relationship? If it did, you know what I mean? If if they like if it did affect it at any point, if that makes sense.
Right.
Well,
So Naya was 3 and she was almost 8 when I came home. So my mother and grandmother told her that I was in school. This is not something that I told them. I think that's the worst thing that you could do because in the mess hall, which is where we eat in prison, is where the visits are held. And there's a big sign that says, teach your child that this is the worst 4 letter word. And it says jail. And it's spelled out huge, like J dash A, that it's huge. And
Wow.
I will never forget my first day home because I didn't know. So I had lost comp time. I was supposed to come home. So when I was sentenced, I thought I was coming home July 7th. I got into a bunch of incidents. I had to see parole. I lost comp time, which I didn't even know I had because I was an 85 percenter, whatever. So I don't come home until August. But initially, I thought I was coming home in November. So on a Tuesday, one day I'm at the microwave cooking and they call me to South Hall, and you only go to South Hall if you're going to detention or they calling you to tell you somebody in your family died. So I'm like, oh God, like why are they calling me to South Hall? And they're like, oh, it's for your exit photo. So I'm like, my exit photo. So I'm like, why would I be taking my exit photo this early if I'm not going home until November? So I go over there and I'm like, well, what's my date to leave? And they're like, August 20th. August 20th was Saturday. It's Tuesday. So I take
Wow.
a picture. I'm cheesing hard as hell. This is my exit photo. I go back and so I leave and my daughter didn't know I was coming home. I go to her dad's house, surprise her, and she gets into the back seat and she basically tells me, "Mommy, I'm very disappointed in you because all this time I thought you were in school and you were in jail." And I'm like, "Who told you I was in jail?" I said, "Well, who told you I was in school?" She was like, "Mima and Nana, and I knew you were in jail because when I used to come see you and everybody had on those ugly costumes, the khakis, um there's that sign that says jail." And she was like, "I guess Mima and Nana never thought I was going to learn how to read." And I basically just had to tell her, like, mommy did something bad and that's why I was there, but I'll never leave you like that again. But our relationship, it's made us um our relationship stronger. And she actually told me, which made me cry, that she wasn't glad that I went to prison at all, but she's glad that I went then instead of now. And when I asked her why, she said because of like her period and bras and shopping and boys and like college. And so it kind of made me feel like I mean, I don't think any time is ever a good time to be separated from your children, whether it's your son or your daughter. But in hindsight, when I think about it, I guess, I am happy that, not happy that I ever went and was ever away from her, but I'm glad that
Yeah.
I was a toddler opposed to now, it's prom season and shopping and, who's going to get her hair and nails done. I would be in prison, like losing my shit. Like, ain't nobody going to do it like her mom.
Right.
And she actually wrote her college essay about me and the experience that, um, I guess my experience being in prison and what it means to her, and like how it like helped her like decide on like her major, which is criminal justice. Like it was a really good essay. But yeah, we're really it made our relationship stronger now. As she's older, she didn't understand then, but she understands now.
That's super dope.
That's
Wow.
what's up. That's what's up.
That is, yes, yes, yes.
Okay, mom.
All right.
With my children, that's a big one for me. Um, I don't really want to elaborate on that too much because it's just not a really um, healthy subject for me. Because due to my incarceration and some other things that I was dealing with in my life at that time, um, my relationship with my children was really strained and is still strained to a certain degree. Not all of my children, but some of them.
Can
And
I?
you,
I'm sorry. You go.
what you say, Sean? I couldn't hear you.
No, I was about to say, that's understandable. So just talk about whatever makes you happy with with the children that understands, if that makes sense.
No, I mean, I love all my children, you know what I mean? But, like my biggest support, of course, all y'all know is Sabrina. She's my biggest supporter, you know. But I don't want to, just make this about her because I love all my children. But it's just one of those things that happens when you choose to make certain decisions. So a lot of stuff that, I deal with in regards to like the cause and effect thing because every cause is an effect, right? So that's just how I choose to look at it. But, I don't let it get me down. It's something that I deal with, because it could be a lifelong effect. It could be. Because sometimes people don't heal, they don't get over stuff. You know what I mean? And that's just the truth of it. But I just, know for me that I learned from my mistakes. And the biggest thing for me is that I get to do it all over again with my grandkids. You know, that's what it is for me. I know I did something right as far as with them in their eyes. But it's not easy. It's not easy at all. A lot of people, mainly women, you know, are unfortunate enough to come out of this prison system. A lot of them are still going to be there for the remainder of their life. You know what I mean? But if you get a chance to just come out here and you granted God give you that second chance, you just gotta try to come out here and make the best of it. Because that place, you got some people in there that's never coming out of that place. Never coming out. And they'll never see their family. They'll never be with their children again. They'll never have that. So those are positive things. I try to look at it from that perspective.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
I want to say something, being as though like I'm one of the children in the and that's my mom. You know what I'm saying? Just speaking from my perspective. When my mom was in prison, I didn't know she was in prison. Like not until she was there for some time. And we used to write letters and stuff like that when I did find out where she was, because for a long time I just didn't know. I was in Florida with my dad, so I really had like little to no communication with my mom's side of the family. So I had a lot of curiosity and stuff, so I think that the time away from her and me wondering for so long, like, well, where is she and how is she? Because it's not like she was never there. Like, I know who my mom is. I remember who my mom is. But I think when we did start, communicating again, I was just so anxious to have that relationship with her when I did find out where she was, and I was able to write her and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a mission for me to be back with her. So when I did get the opportunity to be back with her, we kind of like used to bump heads and stuff. I don't know, Ma. I don't feel like we really had anything like too. I mean, I did run away one time, like little teenager stuff.
I was gonna say, that's just mom and daughter situations.
Yeah, like it wasn't anything like, I don't feel, maybe my mama feel like it was extreme, but I don't think it was extreme. But I just want to say, for some children, like my mom said, people don't heal from things. But then I think, on the flip side, like for me, I think the curiosity, and just the yearning for my mom, I just didn't care about anything else that happened before me and her got back with each other. My siblings may have, certain feelings and stuff like that. But I feel like for me, it's just non-existent, not non-existent because, things happen, but it just doesn't matter anymore. Because like my mom, like she said, my kids, like my mom's a really good grandmother. Like she's very active with my kids. Where'd she go? And, like, I don't know. So I know it's probably no kids on here watching, or maybe somebody on here is watching whose parent might have, been to prison. I don't know. I just think life is short, and just, if you have the opportunity to just make the best of the time that you guys have together.
I feel like we can't judge our parents off of what they was doing before they had us, or what happened before we gotta, like, that's where we have to forgive and forget. Like, we're all humans before any of our titles, before our mother, girlfriend, wife. We're all human. So like, you know what I mean? Stop judging people. Stop holding grudges. So that's why I love the fact that, like, because me and we've been friends forever, and not once have you ever like brung up any of your mom's situation. You just loved her for whatever she brung to you and you brung to her. You know what I mean? And I love that. I just had to say that because that's
Thanks, girl.
Yeah. Hey, Mom. Oh, look, she cursed me out. I got you mute.
Shit, I forgot the question.
No.
How did the separation affect you and your child or children's relationship?
My kids was young. My kids was little. Like Shona was 2. Like I said, Quader was 7 months or whatever. But when we got together, I mean, It is what it is. I made a mistake. I was trying to take care of my kids. I wasn't depending on nobody. I was out there selling drugs, and I got caught out there. Like, you know, I was doing something bad. So when you do something bad, you get caught. You got to do the crime. You do the time. So now that you know that's was part of my life, and they was still a little younger when I got home. My mom was like, "Yeah, here go your kids. Take your kids." So I had to take my kids, and then we just grew from there.
Yeah.
And I never lied to my kids.
No.
Like, no, like, look, I was in jail. I don't want you to do that, and I still say to this day, y'all better not be doing nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You know, so it is what it is. I mean, they can't. They don't know. I always tell them, you don't know what I had to go through to get where to get where I was. I ain't want to. I ain't want. I was used to having stuff. I ain't want to have not have nothing, and I ain't want y'all to not have nothing. But I did it the wrong way. Now I'm doing it the right way.
I know that's right.
So
I do want to elaborate on what you just said. Like, I feel like Shauna said, you know, sometimes even as the child, I think you need to sit back and
be a child.
about what your parents might have went through to get them to the places that they had to be in life. You know what I'm saying? Like speaking to my mom, you know, over time, like, you know, just hearing her or my aunt speak, or her brothers, or, you know, just stories she'll tell me, like, everybody's life wasn't always set up for them to win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so of course everybody hits bumps in the road. You know, some people bumps might be bigger than other people bumps, but somewhere in your life there's gonna be a bump. So I think for me, I think I just had to, you know, sit back. Even when I was younger, just when I did find out where my mom was, just sit back and just be like, okay, well, you know, people go through things. Like, I think that's something that we all should do. Just stop and put yourself in somebody else's shoes for a second, and just understand that sometimes things happen and people, you know, everybody's life wasn't set up for them to prosper and for them to win. And people just got to do what they got to do to survive a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, there's a price to pay for certain things. And like my mom said, thankfully, all of you guys on here were able to walk away from Edna Man Correctional Facility with your freedom, because like she says, a lot of people in there who just won't ever get that opportunity.
Right.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Britt.
Thanks, Mom. Go, Brett.
But you know how you
Yeah, but
feel.
That was two, Mom.
I said how you felt.
No, I'm saying I was two. I can't really feel about something that, like, you know what I mean? You went to jail before me.
She said I was too, Mom. Yo.
That's right.
Like, you did what you had to do. I understand. I'm a very forgiving person. That you did what you had to do. You gave us the life you gave us, and I'm proud of you. Period. Like, so if that's what you want to hear, there you go.
No, boo.
Oh my God, y'all not about to. Y'all not about to. Okay, Britt, go ahead, Britt.
What was the question? How did your separation
How did the
affect
separation
you and
affect you
your
and your
child?
child or children's relationship?
um, he really didn't. He understood, but he really did not understand. It I don't really think it affected him too much, but it's affected him now because I see a lot of anger within him, and and I still see that 3-year-old little baby sometimes in him, and it's like I don't know if that's like a cry for help, or it was like you left me when I was little, because he, even though he's 8, he still mentally sometimes he can be very emotional. Of course kids have emotions, but it's a different type of emotion that I see in him. So we are doing some counseling and things like that, of that nature, because I don't ever want him to grow up and make a wrong decision or decide to do something that he can't take back because his anger. I see myself in him and I see my child's father in him too. And with that combination, it's just like it's like a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. And I really believe that it is affecting him really hard, being as though that I was in jail and he really didn't get to experience um me and his father was going through a custody battle when I was locked up and stuff. Like even the sheriff came and served me, not served me papers, but I got a lifetime restraining order against them. They came to the jail and the sheriff served me my papers and stuff like that. And then when I was on my way out, basically on my way home, his father ended up getting locked up. So it really is like affecting him now as we speak. And our relationship is we have a dope bond. Like we have a dope relationship. He comes to me, he tell me anything like that and stuff like that. He's a sweetheart. But it was like I got a lot of people didn't did not get the privilege to come home on the weekends or stay for 24 hours, stay for 72 hours. And it made me emotional because I went from getting my son up every day and getting him ready to drop him off at school to not being able to do none of that. And it did affect him because I remember one morning, one specific morning, I will never forget this morning. And I believe I had just came home. No, I didn't just come home. I was on a furlough, and Jamari screamed and yelled and cried and like just went crazy all over the house. I'm trying to get him ready for school. He don't want to put his uniform on. He don't want to do this. He don't want to do that. And I had to literally like sit him down and talk to him instead of sometimes they can't get what they want to get out because we constantly yelling at them. We're not talking to them. So once sat him down and talked to him, and he said to me, "When I get out of school, I know you're not going to be here." And I was on a furlough though, so it was like it was hard for me. It was very difficult because for my son to realize that once he know that I'm going to take him to school, he knows that I'm getting him ready for school, but he knows that I'm not able to do this every day because I'm only on a furlough. So to literally, this was on a Monday, and I got him ready. I didn't have to be back until like about I want to say like 12 or one something like that. My stepfather was going to take me back, and he just was like, "I know that you're not going to be here when I get out of school." So basically, he was saying to me, he didn't want to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to spend the rest of the day with me. But I'm like, you had to go to school because there was nobody going to be here, for me to when I was getting ready to go back. It wasn't going. My mom was dealing with my grandmother. It was a lot going on, so he didn't have no choice but to go to school. So and kids say stuff, and sometimes it may go over our heads, but they're saying it for a reason. And he didn't want me to leave. He didn't want me to go. So he did stuff. He's still suffering. We both are. So it really kind of just like I want to say it made me grow up being separated from my son because I was in the streets doing a lot of crazy things. So being separated from him made me just grow up, and we're dealing with that right now. So it did hurt. It still hurts to this day, and I feel like I should have been there for him. I should have been home with my kids. How old was Jamari, Sabrina?
3,
No,
3.
2014. He was no 2014 when I caught my charges. He was like a couple months.
Yeah, because no,
He was
no,
like that.
'cause he was a year because Cass was 4 days when the incident happened.
Oh,
Cass
okay.
was just
Yep.
born. We just came home, so he
Yep.
had to be
So, and I should have,
one.
yeah, I should have been in the house, and when I was out doing what I was doing, and Sabrina had my kid, and I should have been with my kid. But to each his own. You got to learn how to learn from your mistakes,
But look
and
at
that's
y'all
what I'm
now.
dealing with
You have,
today.
I was about to say, you in
I
counseling,
know.
you're doing all the right steps that you need to be doing for you and your child. You know what I mean? We all make mistakes. We all do things that when we get when we get into a state of mind, we are not thinking about the consequences. You understand what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So now
Right.
y'all here, y'all doing amazing, y'all great parents, all of y'all, and I'm thank y'all so much for being here and sharing y'all experience and stuff.
For sure. But
Thank
before
you.
we, because we are at our time, so before we wrap up, I do want to ask this question. With
Yep.
all of you guys being in the same facility, at different times, Nat says she was there from 93 to 96. My mom said from 2000 to 2003. Tanya from 2007 to 2011, and Britt from 2016 to 2019. I want to know, like, is there anything that you feel should have been implemented or should be implemented to help women transition back into society and motherhood? Because a lot of the things that I'm reading on the news about, the articles that I read, or if you see something on the news, it's a lot going on in that facility. The correction officers, the women are being raped, they're being abused. It's a
That
lot
stuff is
going
going
on.
on
And
then.
Wait, before y'all get in, what? But besides what Bree was saying, what is actually going on? Because I'm not lost. So
Abuse.
what's going on there?
Abuse.
Oh, okay.
Officers having relationships with the inmates. I remember, quick story. I remember going during count to the utility closet to get cleaning supplies, and that closet was in the office of an officer. Well, I caught an officer. Well, I didn't catch. I saw an officer making out with an inmate, and so I immediately turned around to walk out to go back to my bunk. And later on that night, the officer called me off of my bunk to like come out into the public area to clean. He was acting very, very, very weird. Like I knew I felt like I was in trouble for seeing something that I wasn't supposed to see. He brought a cheesesteak in the next day and made me eat it. And when I say made me, I mean like he forced me to eat this cheese. I don't know what. Oh, I know that I opened it up to like examine it. When he asked me like, "Oh, do you like cheesesteaks?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like we don't have cheesesteaks in prison. Hell yeah, I like cheesesteaks, and I want one too. So he had this cheesesteak. It had onions on it. I didn't eat onions. I remember him taking this cheesesteak and sliding it and like picking it up and slamming it down. And he was just like, I was like, "Oh no, thank you. I don't I don't eat onions." And he was just like, "No, you eat onions now."
mm,
And I just remember like taking the aluminum foil off of this cheesesteak and just like biting down into it like real slow and like chewing it like very uncomfortably. Like I was really, really uncomfortable. Like I was in ad seg for so long. So coming back to Clinton, like I was hearing stories about like officers like setting inmates up, putting like razors and stuff under the mattress to get them sent off to all types of weird. So I'm like, I need to eat this cheesesteak, even though I don't like onions and peppers. Love onions and peppers to death now, but when I was 25, I did not like onions and peppers. So but yeah, there's a lot that should have been implemented. There should have been like classes to help women readapt back into society, resume writing. I feel like they should have done that. They have college courses and credits now that the Republicans aren't happy about because tax dollars pay for it, but you paying for them to be in prison. So what the hell is the difference? Either you want them to get an education while they're there for 6 or 7 years to come home and be, you know, upstanding citizens in society, or you want them to come home with nothing going for themselves so they could rob you in the Short Hills Mall. How, that situation just happened a few years back. You know what I mean? Like you don't want them to sit in prison idle because in that time, all they have to do is think about, other crime. Well, maybe I could rob the bank differently. Like maybe I could do it this way. You know what I mean? Like all they have is time. So they should have schooling. They should have, I think they should have. Okay, so you're saying getting back into? Oh, they should have like parenting classes because a lot of women are in there for situations that have to do with kids, or maybe they left their kids when they were like 7 or 8 months old, and they weren't released until they were like the kids was like 5 or 6. You don't know how to be a mother.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like those are things that they should do, but they don't do those things because it's a revolving door policy. So that's why the recidivism rate is so high, and so they want you to keep coming back and forth into prison because like she said, when she was in ad seg and people just kept coming back and forth, or like that's home for them. They're institutionalized. They can't make it on the streets, and it's more money being made in prison when those bunks are empty. They don't make money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they should definitely. I think they do now, not as much, but they should. They don't. These women come home. They don't have like clothes to go on interviews. You know, they're coming home basically nothing. They give them, like, if you're not being picked up from prison or you're going to the halfway house, then, you know, if you're maxing out and you don't have a ride, they give you a bus ticket and, you know, see you soon. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. You on mute.
Go ahead.
She was like she was saying, but when I was up there, they had started the parenting classes. They stopped them.
They must have. I
Wow.
mean, they may have them again now, but
Hmm.
when I was there, I don't recall them having
Yeah.
any.
Well, I don't know, but that with the officers and the inmates, that been going on forever, forever. And it be some inmates that be down with it though.
Of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know.
Right, but see, the thing is, inmates, that you don't, when you're an inmate, you're state property, so you can't consent to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not able to consent to anything. So that's why when they say, like, oh, how come when an officer is arrested, or when a CO or something is arrested for doing something with an inmate, they have to go on the registry, because on the
It's
registry
state
is,
property.
yeah, because you're state property, and we're not able to consent to have sex with you, like,
Because you're not supposed to be having sex, period.
exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But that been going on forever.
And it's really unfortunate that things like that happen, whether a woman wants to do it or not. You know, the fact is the correctional officer is there to do a job, not take advantage of somebody who is in a vulnerable position.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because imagine how many women are down there who don't want to do things, but what's going to happen to me if I don't? They're going to take your word over mine.
That's how I
Mhm.
felt about that cheesesteak. Like,
Yeah,
girl, just eat
you
these
know,
damn
so
onions.
He was just letting you know, look. He was just letting you know. He know that you seen them.
I know, and I could see it in his face when he slid that cheesesteak. Like, no, you like onions now. I'm like, I'm not gonna tell, bro. Like, I don't want this cheesesteak.
yeah.
You trying to rob you with that damn cheese stick. You trying to rob you with that damn cheese stick.
I think personally, I think it's really not a lot that they're trying to do to improve it. You know, like they have these systems in these programs there, but are they really utilizing them for the women? They did just to be there. Because I remember when I was down there, I had to wait to go to school. I had to wait to sign up just to go in the sewing room. But even though that was my job, but you know, it was a wait list for everything. You know, they don't have a lot of resources. Well, maybe they do now, but back then, they really don't have a lot of resources. You know, they have things in there into play, like just for the sake of being there. But if you think about it, you got thousands of women in there. What's your chances of you getting in these programs? You know, and be for next thing you know, your time is up, and then you going home and you right back where you started from. And that's basically what it is, you know. And I mean, it's crazy, but I know, like I said, when I was down there, I couldn't get in school. When I got to the halfway house, I couldn't get in school. Everything was a wait list, you know. And
women up there.
yeah, that's what they want. That's what it's designed to do. That's the way it's designed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that like they ain't really, you know, very rarely you see any women up there. I know, like when I was there, you know, there was a woman up there. Well, actually, it was a man. He's transgender.
Leslie?
You
Are you
know,
talking about Leslie?
Tanya?
Leslie?
Yes.
That's my guy.
And
Girl,
Leslie,
whatever.
he killed 2 state troopers, but
Yep.
he's not
I
illegal.
think Leslie died.
No.
Really? But he was awesome, Sabrina. He was, you know, he was transgender, but he was a man. He was in a women's prison, but he identified as a
Leslie
woman.
was the power pro.
And he
Like the law power pro.
Was
Everybody knew
bad.
that. You know,
Was badass.
I'm not going to disrespect him or call him him. Everybody knew her, you know, but you know, and it was people up there that probably was innocent, that didn't really commit the crimes that they was accused of.
I was
a lot of, just because a lot of it happens in the men's prison will make you think it's not happening in the women's. It happens there too. You know, but it's just that, you know, they don't implement the resources, and that's true. Just like you like you said that women up there having. I haven't seen nobody up there pregnant. Thank God. I mean, I don't know what that probably would have did to me if I would see somebody in there pregnant because just the thought of you being, separated from your child after birth because the things change now from back when you was back in that. You know what I'm saying? Like now you have a baby right now. Next day you gotta go home. They just waiting for you to shit. And as long as you take a doodle, you can go home. You and your baby. But it didn't used to be like that back in the day. They used to give you like a week or something like that. But they don't do that now. And that's part of the problem with the system. They're not putting enough resources in it to rehabilitate people. That's what they're not doing.
You just throwing them behind bars and don't care.
Because
it's
about making the
they
money.
don't do prison for rehabilitation. They do it to punish you. And when it's supposed to be for rehabilitation because you're supposed to be rehabilitated to make sure that you don't go home to do anything else, whether it's to commit the same crime or to commit another crime, like just rehabilitate the offender. Yeah, so when you lock us in detention for 15 days and only allow us to shower Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we don't get to shower on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. That's punishment. When you send a woman to administrative segregation and leave them locked in a room for 23 hours a day, and the 1 hour of free time you make them choose between washing their ass and going outside to get fresh air, that's punishment. That's not rehabilitation.
So I want to ask a question. Like, being that we all women and we all get our menstrual cycles and stuff like that, like,
oh, you could forget about it.
Girl,
You'll bleed until you damn die.
Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care.
I also want to say something about the halfway houses.
Even if you're on a visit, and you have to get strip searched, and you tell the officer that you're on your menstrual, take the pad off, squat and cough, and if you cough and something comes out, well, figure it out.
Yep.
It's very humiliating. It's a very humiliating and inhumane situation. And for the life of me, I don't know. The only answer that I can have why people continuously go in and out of prison is because they're institutionalized. They do better in prison opposed to on the streets.
They can't survive on the outside.
They don't know how
bills are covered. That's
how it was in the county.
They give you tissue, they give you soap pads. I don't know if they still do that. They give you stuff for the month, and that's it. So you're being taken care of. And you get $15 a month state pay. It's $30, but if you have fines, then it's half of that. So you get $15 between $15 and $30 a month of state pay. You get your rolls of toilet tissue.
I know they was keeping 50. If you get money, they used to keep $50 off the back.
Yeah, they keep half.
That's your rent.
Some people live better. Some people live better in prison than they do on the street.
3 houses shot.
I was going to say, so they're comfortable there, honestly.
They're institutionalized.
You see them, and you know who they are, too. Because
they become institutionalized.
You still there, and they done came back 2 times. And you still there. You waiting to go home. And these people that came back 2 times.
I remember, like,
especially
women
in the county in the wintertime.
You came home, or you came back, and no, I did not come back, ma'am. I'm still on my same bed.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well, all that being said, I did some research on the correctional facility and Edna Man, and I just wanted to read this really fast because from what you guys are describing, how you guys are describing your experiences from 1993 all the way to 2019 is not what the facility was once based upon. And Brittany brought this up during our meeting yesterday, so I wanted to do some research on it. So I'm just going to read this briefly, really fast. I'll read fast, don't worry. Oh, I can't see it because the thing is here. Shucks. Okay.
You want me to read it? Edna Mayhan's work broke gender barriers in prison reform in areas outside the vision of 19th century reformers, challenging how prisoners were disciplined. Previously, inmates lost their privileges, leisure time, and inclusion in special activities when they misbehaved. But Mayhan did not believe in these methods. Interesting. Social and economic opportunities were already limited, so there was not much to lose. Mayhan also avoided solitary confinement. Wow. avoided solitary confinement and handcuffs because she believed that these forms of restraints prevented inmates from developing self-discipline. Across the board, she treated women differently from incarcerated men. This lady is flipping over in her grave. I can promise
Yes,
you this.
for
Mahan
sure.
strove to make prisoners feel like individuals. Wow, as she established personal relationships with them. One prisoner wrote, "When I am really discouraged, like today, I have to think of her and her understanding and concern of us girls. Then I know nothing can hurt me." Mahan turned away from forceful correctional approaches to acknowledge something in prison. I can't read that last word.
To acknowledge gender
Gender.
as a factor in
In
prison.
prison. Wow. So I can tell you that
Never was
none
supposed
of
to
it.
be in prison.
Yeah. Well, I can promise it they're gonna have hell to pay when they die and run into her down there or up there wherever she is, because that is not what's happening.
Yeah.
She's
And it's
buried on
crazy.
that land.
It's crazy because when Bree had brought it up and we was like looking into it, I'm like, damn, like that is nothing how they was explaining it to us
Yeah.
now. So I guess with like different when different people take over, it just changes more and more.
Different administrators, yeah.
Right, that's the
So
word.
after Blackwell, I think there was Mr. Hawk.
Well, Mr. Hawk was
Yeah,
there
Mr. Hawk.
too with Blackwell.
His big funny built
Yeah,
body.
because
He was a
he the
mess.
one who sent me the essay.
He
But go
was
ahead.
he was trash. Every time I see his
Yeah.
big funny girl, ugh.
So
I
one
mean,
question
just
before
the
we
fact that it's only one women's prison in this whole state, and you can count on
It's
hand
overpopulated and it's
how many
overcrowded.
men's prisons there is. Not that I'm supporting like the building of prisons, because I believe like, okay, if you committing a violent crime or something like that, you need you. I mean, look, okay, but times has changed. Like a lot of stuff is legalized now, But what about the rehabilitation portion of it? Because people suffer from mental illness, people suffer from poverty, and just a lot of different things which cause them to make different decisions. And jail is not always the answer for everybody.
Yeah.
That's just not always the answer. But they find a way to make these laws and put in our communities to lock people up.
Well,
And
if
that's
they
why
really, if they focused on the rehabilitation aspect of prison, they would have no prisoners.
Exactly.
So they don't want they really don't want us to be rehabilitated.
Right.
They want us to leave and come back. I remember the day that I was released, a sergeant, and I made a post about this not too long ago on Facebook, and I tagged his ass in that post. I found his Facebook page and I tagged him. He said, "See you soon. You'll be back." And he was a black guy, and I could, for the life of me, I'm like, "You're a minority. I'm a minority. Why would you wish that on me? I gave you 5 years of hell. Like I terrorized you. Why would you want me to come back?" But
Okay, so I'm so happy we all talking about this, and as some of you may know, I do an externship in jail, and like I only been there for 3 weeks, but since I have been there, if I'm not violating no like HIPAA laws or whatever, I done seen 4 people leave on a Tuesday and come back on a Friday, and it's not like I don't necessarily think that like they're intentionally meaning to be mean and say it in that sense, and like he had no right saying that to you, but some people just literally like it's a revolving door, and it's not even like I don't know.
it is. It really is a revolving door, and that
crazy.
comes from the lack of resources that
Mm-hmm.
the prisons have, and they have all of these federally funded programs, but yet and still they don't put any of that into these prisons for education purposes. Well, they have it now, but
Even with,
but like the
even with the halfway
decades,
house, we were only. Go ahead,
or
Tanya.
just being just like Miss Christina said, like, oh, being on a waiting list. Like I remember that waiting list situation too. That's why I never got a job. And my mom always said, like, I send you $125 every 2 weeks. Are you gonna go to work? And I'm like, yeah, I'm on waiting list. And I used to think like I ain't working for these damn Yankees. I ain't working for them making it. I remember when I first pulled, they was weed whacking and shit. I said I wouldn't get on my knees and pull up near damn flower. I'm not working for these pilgrims to make this prison look like nothing. You shitting me. You shitting me? No.
Mm-hmm.
I used to see them on the side of the road, like doing like the road work.
Just the lack of not having any resource. They have the resources. They just don't want to put it into the rehabilitation. You
Yeah.
know, because again, once you
Mhm.
rehabilitate and you come home and you do good things in society, then you don't come back to prison. So what good are you for the prison? You know,
Yeah,
is
I
it?
have been seeing a lot of stories where people are like, I mean, you have people who was in jail for whatever they was in jail for, but now they're owning businesses and they're evolving. So I love seeing stuff like that. And look at y'all, like everyone's evolving on here. They're doing a wonderful job. Like we gotta fight the system.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
gotta
That's my
find
goal. That's
ways.
I've never
that is
seen
my goal. That's why I have my degree in criminal justice, because I definitely want to do something as far as the prisons are concerned. I don't know how far I'll be able to go with it because of my background and not being able to get my record expunged, but I'm
No,
gonna do
you're gonna go
something.
far.
Mhm.
At some point, the way these laws is changing all the time, you're gonna go far because at the end of the day, like you have a purpose and it's gonna happen. I still can't get over the fact that there's only one woman prison in freaking New Jersey. Jersey
Yes.
is super big.
And
Like
Wade walked in here when my mom asked that question. He said there's 12 for men.
Yeah.
Wow, I wonder why is that?
wait,
Yeah.
12 for men
It's
and
12
one for
prisons. It's
women.
12. Well, they incarcerate more men than women. That's
Oh,
what it is.
Yeah,
That's
statistically,
part of the plan as
more
well.
men commit crimes than
Right.
women. Statistically,
They set out. Yeah. That's what they say. But you just if you're aware of it, just try to just stay out of prison. I mean, that's all I can say. Just it ain't easy out here. You know what I mean? But you gotta try to avoid these obstacles that's designed to put in your way because they out
choose
here.
your battles wisely. That's all
They
I can
out
say.
here. You know what I
I was
mean?
just about to say, if
Absolutely.
we could give one advice before y'all leave, what would your advice be to everyone out there? Oh wait,
She'll get back on.
okay. So just give like some type of advice to people who
Choose your battles wisely. Watch the company you keep.
Okay.
that's great advice.
Brittany?
All right, Mike, you got any advice? Because I see that you said you got to get ready to go. No.
Just stay out of jail. I mean, try your best. I mean, just try your best to stay out of jail. And as far as what, like she said about they need to rehabilitate people. We about this gas station. This man stabbed this other man in the eye because he told the Spanish guy told him that he ain't had $1
Wow. At the Global?
at the Global Girl.
Oh, he's going to jail.
Yeah, so something wrong with him.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's crazy. It's just like mentally, we don't get. A lot of people don't want to go to counseling. Counseling is the bomb. I love counseling.
Hmm.
Cry, baby, get out that damn cover.
Brittany.
All right, y'all.
All right, thank
The only thing I can
you.
really say is that if
Bye.
somebody tell you not to do something, just don't do it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can really say because and don't let your emotions get the best of you because once you get on that emotional roller coaster, them little people start talking in your head. Just go on and lay down somewhere and just breathe because at
Brittany
this
said,
point
"Go
it's
over
like
there."
it take a lot the drugs, the alcohol. You don't be in your right state of mind when you do something sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So even
that's
if you
true.
gotta pick up the phone and call somebody, you just gotta do what you gotta do because if you want to go to jail, then so be it. But I'm just saying, like, just think. You gotta think about it first. You gotta think about the consequences. You gotta think about the people around you that you leaving and the people that need you, especially the little people.
Yep.
Okay, Mom.
Oh, and I want to say something about the halfway house too that I've been trying to get out all night. I have never in my life seen any woman at the halfway house work at um a hotel. Um, well, we can't work with kids, so that's out of the question. But but I had never seen anybody work like as like a professional manner as far as like working at a hotel or working in somebody's office or we so like they just want us to just everybody that I ever came in encounter with that went to the happy house, it was always a fast food place. We was always stagnated to work in a fast food restaurant or
Do they make you do that?
establishment. I've never experienced anybody saying, "Hey, girl, guess where I got a job at? I'm gonna be working overnight at the hotel." Like you get what I'm saying? And it bothers me because I'm trying to figure out: are we not good? Are the people that's at the that's running the facility saying that we're not good enough for that, or are we just deciding to just like to
Be
to just
stagnated.
sacrifice or just to be
So you know what
stagnated with that or
It's so funny you said
what?
that because like, most of the places I worked at or like volunteering at, like they have where the furlough, right? That's furlough. They have furlough when people can come out and work. And so I'm like, why they don't work at like businesses like business office mainly because they don't trust y'all. I mean like they don't trust inmates to do that type of work because when you in those type of
But then
facilities,
that plays a part in rehabilitation, though. You get what I'm
no,
A
saying?
lot of a lot
It's
of that
bad
stuff
enough.
be
It's hard for us to get jobs. You gotta start. You
It's
gotta
hard for
start.
us to get
I'm saying we have
jobs,
to start somewhere.
housing,
yeah, but
everything.
a lot of that stuff just be set up for you just to have somewhere for you to go so they can get their house dues. It's really not about rehabilitating you or trying to re-enter you into
Thank
society.
you. They're exactly.
Because
That's all they want
that
us to
was
do
the
is pay that
case,
money.
if
yeah.
that was the case,
Yep.
they would utilize the program because like when I was in Kentucky, that's when Dr. Epps was there and the other like some other ladies. But they like we had counseling and we had group and we had stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's just that it's too many women. It's too many women coming through the system. So everybody can't get the same thing at the same time. You know what I mean? So what do you do when the resources are limited? What do you do? Like me myself, and I didn't want to get into it, but I left. I left. I walked right out the door and left because that's just what I did. But
You're
I paid for it later. But
That's how you
throughout my
felt at
whole
the time.
situation, I was never put in a position in there to be rehabilitated. I was never
Yep.
everywhere I
No.
went. It was never in a situation where I was able to get something out of it to keep me from coming back here.
it's
It was
almost like they put you in situations to put you back into that
right.
situation. Like,
It was a
they'll drop
personal
you off.
choice.
You from Plainfield, we're gonna put you right in Newark in the hood and hope that you go downtown, run into one of your homies, hop on that bus and escape.
It was a personal choice. You know what I mean? It was something that I felt like I had to do. You know what I mean? But that's why it's so near and dear to me now. Like me, I'm still trying to finish school. You know what I mean? But I mean, it is what it is. I'm
But
still
the fact you
here.
went back, Miss Christina, is beautiful. The
Right.
fact that you made it this far is beautiful because people like they get stuck like, oh, I only could do this. And people also get stuck in the sense that everybody trying to knock them down. Because they do try to knock everyone down. They try to bring up old things that have nothing to do. So I
Right.
definitely congratulate you. I congratulate my mom.
Thank
Everybody
you,
who
baby.
went back and continued to educate themselves. I even congratulate you ladies, but I had to give a shout out to Miss Christina, my mom first.
Thank you, Joanna.
Because I'm proud of them.
Yes.
I'm proud of
It's
y'all.
You guys, I super, 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 super appreciate you guys for being vulnerable tonight and sharing, those experiences that you went through is very unfortunate, but I'm thankful that, each and every one of you are here and able to, share those experiences with us today and that you learned from that experience and that none of you ever went back. And for anybody who is watching us, like Tanya said, watch the company you keep. Like Brittany said, just keep your emotions intact because one wrong decision that might not seem so wrong at the time could cost you a whole lot. And it's just not worth it. And
I truly appreciate you guys coming on because I learned a lot myself. So
Yes, I did. And for the record, we had a steady view.
Yes.
For the record, they stayed on. They stayed on for 2 hours. We definitely went overboard, but
Thank
I
you
love it.
guys.
And I appreciate y'all coming on here. And I know it probably bring up some sad things, but we still appreciate it.
Thank
Love
you,
you
lady.
guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And thanks for everybody for watching and
Yeah, thank y'all for
listening.
watching.
And don't go to prison, please.
Right.
Listen,
Bye, guys.
Yes. That is, especially not that prison.
What?
All right. See ya.
Good night, ladies. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
Thank you for watching. Until next Sunday, Spicy Sundays after dark.
Oh, yes, after dark. Yes, we got a little spice. We got to loosen up. We got a little sentimental, and I loved it though.
I loved it.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for
Y'all have a
everybody
great
on
week.
Facebook and YouTube. Thank you guys for watching.
Bye.
Yes, bye.
Bye.